All right, Sue Hell with Sun City Running here. We're here with verbally committed Adelynn Rodriguez from Eastwood. Um, an incredible running career so far, and you still got a lot of season left, in cross country. And well, we're actually coming to a close in cross country, but we're getting close. And then we still got one more track season. But just throwing out some accolades here. Um, Last year in track, you had an incredible season. You threw out a 4:52 in the 1600 at regionals. You threw out a 10:23.75 in the 3200 at state. And what was even more impressive to me was you went to TDF, and instead of saying, you know what, I want to see what I can do in the mile, I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to run the 5K. Uh, and you ran a 17:05, which puts you, at a high percentage, in the rankings. But let's go back and we'll get more into that in a bit. But first, let's talk about your signing with OSU. I know you got to be pretty thrilled about that. Talk to us a little bit about that. What was that process like?
Yeah, so the whole recruitment process was a bit stressful, I'll be honest, but it was a lot of fun. It was a really hard decision, I'll be honest, but I just really had to think what was best for me, especially in the moment. And obviously, this is my senior year in cross, and I really just want to focus on running because, especially coming off of a really strong track season, I feel I could do a lot this year in cross, especially after having a few rough seasons the past 2 years. But yeah, I felt the decision was, I felt I made a really good decision. Looking from the background that they have to the academics, it just fit the type of things I wanted and valued when it came to just deciding what college I went to. So yeah, it was a really good process.
OSU is known for picking up a lot of uh, Texas runners. Uh, we got Schaub, we got Myers, at the top of my head. But was this your top choice? I know I heard from a little bird that you kind of wanted to go to Florida. UT was also in the market, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it came down to Oklahoma. Talk to us how you felt like it. What differentiated this decision from those other schools?
Yeah, so for sure in the summer, my top choice was U of Florida. Because they got a new coaching staff with a very successful background, and then obviously the academics is what really stood out to me. Um, I think what made U of Florida different from Oklahoma is I was able to connect with the coaches a lot better. Um, they seemed very interested in me, and genuinely, they seemed like they cared about me, not just as a runner, but as a person, because they tried to get to know me past running, like my hobbies and things I like. And then when it comes to UT, I did like UT. The coach was fantastic. She was very sweet. I enjoyed talking to her. But it's just like I said, in the moment, I felt Oklahoma was the right decision for me. And I don't really have any regrets. I mean, it was a very scary moment, but in the end, I'm really happy with it. Just all like I said, because has a successful program and like the academics, and especially when I went to go visit, just the team seemed amazing. They seemed very driven. They seemed very focused, and that's the type of people I want to surround myself with.
Awesome. And you can't ignore their pedigree of transforming their distance runners and them doing some great things. Um, but let's talk about, the mental aspect of what it takes to go through this process because, you're mid-season, you have to balance academics, real life, uh, these visits, and then training. What has this process been like through that, and how have you handled the mental aspect of just staying focused on you want to put your attention into these schools because you want to give them a fair shot and see if that's where you want to go, but at the same time you got to focus on school and your training and talk to us a little bit what that's been like and how have you handled that?
Um, I will say I did struggle a bit, especially recently. It has taken a big toll just because obviously the pressure, and then everyone wanting to know like where you're gonna commit, and especially like people that are closer to me that know my decisions. They're obviously gonna have their opinions. Um,
Right.
It was a bit difficult, like I said, but it was fun, just the aspect, the idea of it, having all these colleges want me and being able to go on these visits. But, you know, in the end, it's just about really organizing my time and choosing when to go because, like you said, I'm doing schoolwork and then I'm in season. And as much as this is a big decision, I really don't want to ruin my last year in cross country in high school because this is the only time I'm gonna get. This is my last time I'll ever experience this. So I just obviously I had to be a bit selfish in the decision. But yeah, so
Well, again, congratulations there. Do you feel like there's a big, sense of relief? You got that elephant off the back, metaphorically speaking. You can kind of put that in the rearview mirror a little bit and get back to business.
oh absolutely.
And what excites you the most, knowing, okay, you got to lock down, you know where you're going to be. What excites you the most? Do you feel like that kind of gives you a whole new level of focus in terms of training, or kind of takes through that thought process as well?
It definitely changes my mindset a bit. Um, because obviously like around the time I was going to make the decision, my I was hitting a bit of a wall in running, and obviously when I made it, my mindset went from okay, I need to run good so I can have these colleges look to me to now I'm running for Oklahoma and I need to make sure I just maintain this. So it I will say it is big, it has taken a lot of pressure off of me. Um but I think it's just really the mental aspect of kind of just the way you interpret it, you know, like if in the end I should just be happy with how I do in the season mentally. And obviously being able to just say I've committed already to a college, it's like okay, like I finally reached one of my biggest goals this whole high school, like my whole high school years, obviously to get into college and run. And I
Right.
finally did it. In the end, it's just about maintaining it and keeping that title, I guess, like in my mind while doing like racing and practicing and just finishing out the
Right.
season.
And what is it that you feel like you've learned, in your about 3.5 years there at Eastwood? What do you feel like you've learned and acquired there, you know, covering all of the spectrums, skill, training, mental stuff? What do you feel like you've acquired there at Eastwood that you feel is really going to benefit you and your team there at OSU?
I think for sure, just the idea that, running as much as I've been doing it my whole life and it's just shaped me as a person. In the end, I'm doing it just to have fun. And I remember my freshman year going to Eastwood, I used to put so much pressure on myself. And that was one thing Coach McLean really helped me calm down, like, really helped solve and just helped me enjoy the sport more than take it more seriously. And I think that's what really clicked my junior year of track season is I started to just not go into a race and have a goal, but just go into a race and tell myself like I just need to have fun. Like I qualified this far, I've done the work. I'm just all I have to do is just go on the track and see what it's gonna do. And if I have a bad race, I have a bad race. And if I don't, then thank God. But in the end, it's just realizing running is not as deep as it seems. It's really just something I do for fun. It's something I enjoy. It's something that takes a lot of pressure, a lot of stress off from my personal life, but it's also something that makes me just become a better person. And that's honestly one of the most valued lessons I've learned out of the 3 years, 3.5 years I've been at Eastwood. So
Awesome. And I did speak to McLean often about you, and that was one of the things that he did mention was the level maturization that you've evolved, not just in the running game. Obviously, we see that, but as it's outside of running, the way you handle the life pressures and stuff. He's really spoke highly about the work that you put in those aspects. Um, it seems like just yesterday I was just talking to your brother about signing. He's out there working real hard. I see some of his Instagram posts. He looks like he's loving it out there. Have you talked to him a little bit, and what has he told you about you signing?
Oh yeah. He's definitely, I'll be honest, he's for sure the one person that's helped me throughout this whole process because like I said earlier, like especially with the people closer to me that know like the schools I'm choosing, they're gonna have their opinions. But he's for sure the one person that's just like, listen, I'm gonna support you wherever you go. Like I want you to tell me which one's your favorite and why. And having him far away it's hard, but I'm incredibly proud of him. Like I'm gonna be honest, not everyone really thought he would come this far, but he's proved everyone wrong. And he's supported me even when he was here, and having him support me even when he's like miles 100 miles away, it means a lot. But he's very proud of me. I talk to him pretty often, so yeah.
I believed all of that, but one point where you said that you kind of missed him a little bit.
I
And
know.
no, not really, not really. But you're right about him. He did prove a lot of naysayers, and it's great that you still have that support out of him, because he is a good example of you know what you got to do to take it to the next level. All right, so next, you got to take me through some of the highs and lows of this whole process. What about this process do you feel surprised you? And it can be in a good way or a bad way, and actually, if you can give us both, talk to us through those things.
I guess in a good way, I guess just the attention I got. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think I would get like I didn't think I'd be able to talk to the schools that reached out to me and obviously like hear from them as well. So that's definitely a good thing. I guess the bad thing about it is just like the stress going into it.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, just getting the attention I wasn't expecting. There was a lot of times where like I just get a random call from a coach, or there's just it almost became like I was burnt out talking to all these college coaches, and it was like amazing schools, but it's just the more I talk to them and the more I like hear the same thing over and over again, the more I was like, oh, like when is this going to end? And it's in the end, it's just all about being patient. But that was definitely the two things that shocked me when it came to obviously experiencing this. So
Right. And I like the high part, it must feel good to be, wanted. And to me, that's just a testament and validation of all the hard work that you've put in. Um, Now let's go to the city of El Paso a little bit. You've been number one ranked coming in these past two seasons. Um, where do you feel like that has shaped you coming into this season personally? You knew that you were gonna have to start getting ready to choose a college, but now you have all these other side things, and probably more importantly, the things that need to be at the forefront of your mind, how you're handling the season. How have you handled that type of uh acknowledgement? We got the El Paso Times covering you quite a bit. And Of course, me with Sun City, you get that recognition, and I think El Paso Writing covers you quite a bit as well. What do you get from that, and how do you use that to kind of propel you into your season and how you handle everything else?
I feel like um coming into the season, obviously as the number one girl, it I would say I do get pressure. I just don't get a lot because I feel like I said, I think earlier in the season, throughout my whole 4 years, I've kind of been out like highly ranked throughout. So I've really gotten used to this pressure and really learned how to deal with it in a very
Right.
mature way. Um, I think a way I try to make sure it doesn't bother me is just really focusing on my team this year. We have an amazing team, a really strong team, and we have so much potential. And they're looking very good, especially in the beginning of the season. And after this previous race, they looked amazing. And so just learning to focus on them more than I guess where I place in the city. It's really helped me it's really helped me not be nervous and not stress out over I guess just rankings and times and stuff. So
Right. And lastly, we'll get into closing with this. interview. Um, Two questions. First, this is always my favorite question to ask because I think it's so important. For anybody that any young lady that wants to follow, not necessarily, verbatim, in your footsteps, but similar, they want to make it to a good school, academically and athletically. Um, what do they need to do, and what would your advice be to them to accomplish something similar or greater than what you've done?
My advice to the girls, obviously that want to accomplish this and better, is just to be ready to stand up for yourself and to be ready to sacrifice a lot. It's very fun and it's rewarding to be able to experience this now, but the journey was not easy. I've gone through a lot and I've dealt with a lot and I'm still going through a lot. But just learning to, take the pressure off, and having support is very important as well, like my family and friends and coaches. Just obviously you have to really stand up for yourself, and there's going to be situations where you're going to have to choose what is right for you rather than what is right for everyone else.
Right.
And obviously making sacrifices as well. Like as a kid, like you want to have fun, you want to go to football games, you want to go out and maybe eat like really bad every day.
That's a hard
It's
one.
just exactly, yeah. But if you want it that bad, you'll be able to have that self discipline and be able to like reject those offers because in the end it's gonna be worth it, like for sure. But it's just the process of, like I said earlier, standing up for yourself and having that self discipline to be able to make sacrifices. So
Right on, right on. And last one. Um, Give me one thing this season, or what, better yet, since this track season has ended, you had an incredible track season, you're coming off an incredible high with that success. Give me one thing that you've had, maybe it was in the summer or something that you had in the season so far, one little thing that you drew a lot of inspiration from. Maybe it was a song, maybe it was a news article that you read, or maybe a book that you read, or maybe some good friend of yours told you something, you're like, oh, and it just clicked for you, and it was just something that you kind of used to propel you forward.
um I so in the summer I was talking to a college coach and we started discussing my track season, and he mentioned something like overnight success is achieved through like yearly work, and that really stuck out to me because I feel that is true. I mean, I'm definitely underlooked in the state of Texas,
I agree.
but in reality I have been up there and running just as well as those girls, and track season was kind of just like my little like pop like reveal, I guess. But I've always been around. I never really got the recognition until that time. And so when he said that, that made me really think about what I went through, what I've gone through, like throughout, I guess, just my whole high school running career. Like I feel like that just described it perfectly. And so that's definitely, I still carry it to my heart. Like I think about it and I'm like I just have to keep putting in the work because it people might know me a little bit better after junior year, but I could definitely start being able to be out there more if I just keep putting in the work and keep showing up to practice and making my sacrifices and stuff like that. So
I agree. I don't know what's up with that. I think you deserve a lot more recognition along with all of the city of El Paso. We're no slouches in the sprinting department. We know that, and we're definitely no slouches when it comes to the distance department. You got one near teammate, Danny, who's, I think doesn't get enough recognition as well. But all things said, I think you're doing an incredible job. And like you and many others that have come out of El Paso and gone on to run collegiately, I definitely will keep my tabs on you. And like I tell other future signees, maybe one day we could have like a college sit down interview and talk about, how things have gone. But again, congratulations. And, you're paving the way for other ladies here in El Paso, just like others before you. So again, congratulations. And I look forward to it.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.